Good morning, everyone, again. My name is John Clifford, and I've been responsible, I suppose, for organising and facilitating this morning's session, making every minute count, getting started with SAP SuccessFactors time tracking. Just going to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get things underway, just to let everyone know that this morning's session will be recorded. And we're happy to share the recording with you all at the end of the session. Also, we try to make these sessions, I suppose, as interactive and as engaging as possible. You'll notice on the panel there's a Q&A tab. If you do have questions, please feel free to submit them as part of today's agenda. We will facilitate questions and answers at the end of this morning's session. I'm just going to go now and introduce you to two of my colleagues. Delighted to be joined by both Nicholas and Jacob, who are sitting in our Copenhagen office this morning. I might ask them just to give us a quick introduction. Good morning, Nicholas. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, John. Thank you. My name is Nicholas, and I've worked in Gaudi for 7+ years with time management in various solutions, including SAP HCM, workforce software, and the SuccessFactors time management modules. And I'm certified in both Employee Central and SuccessFactors time management. And during the years, I've worked with several large clients like Danish Railways, Dupont, and Danish Crown.
Yep. Thanks, Nicholas. Over to you, Jacob. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen. And my name is Jacob Fritsch, also based in the Copenhagen office, as mentioned. Bit of a time nerd, worked with HR and time for the last 17 years, last 7+ years for Gaudi. I also worked with the customers such as Danfoss, Nexi, Microsoft, Danish Crown within SAP and workforce software.
Good stuff. Thank you both. So delighted to be joined by two of our subject matter experts. Just going to go over the agenda real quick, just to give you visibility on what we plan on covering this morning. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Gaudi Group next. Then I'm going to hand it over to Nicholas, who will talk a little bit about SAP SuccessFactors time tracking and what it includes and where it sits within SuccessFactors itself. Then going to do a quick product demonstration. We're going to go through some of the more asked use cases for the solution itself. Then I'm going to get Nicholas to talk a little bit, get Jacob to talk a little bit about Tiger. You're probably wondering what Tiger is. I'm going to keep you all in suspense for a little bit longer. And then we're going to do a quick summary and I suppose some key takeaways from this morning's session. And as I said at the beginning of the call, we will facilitate a Q&A session at the end. So again, encourage you all to participate in this morning's session. And if you do have any questions, please feel to submit them. So if I just move on to the next slide, for those of you who may not be familiar about Gaudi. So Gaudi are an SAP Gold partner. We're in the SAP space now for nearly 26 years. We're unique in the sense that we're an employee-owned organization. We have a very strong, I suppose, what I would call Nordic Scandinavian heritage, but have grown, as people can imagine, quite aggressively over that time. Today, we have offices in over 8 countries and have coverage right across the EMEA region, and also an office in Dubai in North Africa. We're just over 200 employees. We're unique in the sense that, I suppose, unlike other SAP partners, our focus really has just been primarily on HR. And I suppose most specifically to today's call, really, it's about SAP SuccessFactors and cloud HR. But we also have strategic partners with organizations that we feel complement, I suppose, our SuccessFactors offering, whether that be SAP Concur, ServiceNow, Workforce Software, and so forth. So that's just a little bit about us, really. I mean, from a consultancy perspective, we do implementations, we sell licenses. We also have a very, very strong support offering. And we also have a sister company called PXM Software. They've developed IP as opposed to what we would do enhance, or what we would describe as solutions that enhance your SAP successor offerings, whether that's around document management or org chart modeling and so forth. Below, you'll see some of the customers that we've worked with. But again, over the past 25 years, we've worked across all industries and all sectors and have a strong industry experience in most. So I know you're not here to listen to me. So on that note, I'm going to hand it over to Nicholas now. And Nicholas is going to give you a very, very high level overview, it's fair to say, on firstly what SAP SuccessFactors time tracking is. And just to give everyone a flavor, this isn't by any means a comprehensive overview of the solution, but you'll get a flavor, and we'll also look at some use cases. So over to you, Nicholas. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Like John said, today we'll introduce you to some key concepts of SuccessFactors time tracking. And we're not going to go into the technical details and configurations of it, but we will instead keep this session for an end user perspective. So let's start with the basics of SuccessFactors time management. It's built around two core modules, time off and timesheet, and both of them is included in your Employee Central license. On top of that, we have time tracking, which acts as an extension to timesheet, adding advanced capabilities. So here's how it works. Time off handles absence like sickness, annual leave, and parental leave, while timesheet is all about attendance. So that's like working hours, overtime, and similar registrations. And now time tracking takes things to the next level. It brings powerful features like clock in, clock out, across midnight registrations, and temporary work schedules. And here's something important. SAP is investing heavily in time management. Every release, which is twice a year, brings new features and enhancements so the solution keeps getting smarter and more flexible. And most of these new features and functions will require the time tracking license.
Yeah, I can also just add here that, of course, there's also a mobile app, and all of the modules are also included in that and can be accessed from that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So the new features in time tracking, these are actually just a few of the new features introduced in recent releases. But rather than going through the entire list, I want to highlight a few of the most exciting and impactful, in my opinion. Every release brings new enhancements to the time valuation, and one of the most exciting additions is the opportunity to bring business rules into time valuation. This was introduced last year and opens up far more possibilities to handling complex requirements with standard calculations. Actually, we have an example to showcase this in the product demonstration later. But it's not only new features for configuration that comes with the releases. There's also been enhancements to the user experience, making it easier for the end user to work in the system. This includes quick create and copy functionalities in timesheet that makes it possible to create quickly and copy time registrations for several days at a time. And with the newest release for mobile devices, it's now possible to set up geofencing. And if you don't know what that is, geofencing is a virtual perimeter that can be used to ensure that employees clock time only when they're within a desired location. But now that we looked at the features of time tracking, let's dive into what happens behind the scene when time is actually recorded. How does the system turn those entries into correct pay types, accruals, and alerts? This is where the time valuation comes in. The end of the time valuation is what matters the most. Accurate pay type generation, updated time off and lieu accruals, and alerts for any exceptions. These outputs ensure payroll accuracy and compliance. To get there, the system needs three key inputs: HR master data, working time provisions, and actual recorded times. HR data defines work schedules and employee attributes. Provisions cover legal rules and agreements, and actual times comes from the employee entries. Altogether, these components drives the time valuation process.
Yeah, And I can also add here that the alerts, if you're wondering what that is, you can, for example, use those for the 11-hour rest rule. So in Europe, we do have recommended or rule that says we need to have 11 hours of rest between work. The alerts can flag if this is in breach. Could also be the rest day rule or any other rules that you might want to check up on that could be connected to the timesheet registrations.
That's a good point.
Yep.
So now it's time for a quick product demonstration. And I just want to go through what we'll cover. So first, a quick tour of the timesheet interface, so you know where everything lives. Then I'll show you just how easy it is and can be to record working time, allowances, and absence. Next, we'll see the live time valuation that instantly calculates the output. So pay type premiums like night shift allowances are calculated instantly when we save a recording. And finally, we'll dive into some overtime scenarios. Here's where business rules and time valuation really makes a difference. They let us apply different logic based on the employee's department, which is perfect when most rules are similar, but you need a few variations for example, locations or departments. For example, the requirements that we worked with in this demonstration is that employees in Department 1 will accrue 2 hours into their time off in lieu account for every overtime hour recorded. But employees in Department 2 will accrue 1.5 hour into the time off in lieu account for every overtime hour recorded. And if you're a part-time employee, only 1 hour will be accrued into the time off in lieu account for every overtime hour recorded until they hit 37 hours, which is the full-time equivalent in Denmark. After that, the department standard will apply. So let's jump in and see it all in action. And if it's okay with you, Jacob, I'll just take the screen.
Thank you.
2 seconds. And please tell me when it's visible.
It is visible now.
Yeah. So this is the SuccessFactors homepage. From here, we have multiple ways to navigate the system. We can use the quick tile actions for common tasks, or we can use the action search bar to quickly find what we need. Now, as an admin, I can use this action search to jump straight into an employee's timesheet. And for this demonstration, I will open Martin Gilbert's timesheet. And he is a full-time employee, and he's working in Department 1. So this is the timesheet interface. At the top, you can see the employee name, the planned working time, which comes from the assigned work schedule, the recorded working time for the timesheet, and the status that is right now to be submitted. And the usual process for this status is that the employee will complete the timesheet and then submit it, which will then trigger workflow that goes to the manager for approval. Below here is our actual timesheet. And right now it's a weekly timesheet with a weekly view, which means it needs to be completed and approved every week. But if your process works better in a monthly manner, time tracking will give you that flexibility too. We just need to set it up instead. So here you can instantly compare the planned working time for each day with the actual recorded time. And the best part of it is that even if it's a weekly timesheet, you can switch to a monthly view if you want and see it like this. Either way, you can use the quick action, the quick create action to quickly create time registrations for several days. If you need to create the same time registration for several days, you just mark the days, click create and recordings. Then you can choose your recording time and your the employee's working time, or you can just hit the apply plan time, which will generate the recording from the work schedule assigned. I'll do that for Martin. And then you can see I've just created the time registrations for all 5 days. On the right side, you'll notice options to record working time, allowances, and absence. And this really shows that it's an integrated solution because, as I said earlier, absence management come from time off, attendance come from timesheet, but for the user, it all feels unified. And if I want to record working time, I can pick from a list of attendance types, and these are fully configurable and assigned to the right employee groups. And this same flexibility applies to allowances and for absence. So let's say I want to create an absence. You will instantly notice that if the absence type is connected to a leave balance, you will see if there's any available balance on the day. You can also see that it actually validates that the day I want to create the absence on, I've already created some working time. So I can just skip it to another day and hit submit if I want to do that. In the list of absence types, this is also fully configurable and could be assigned to the different employee groups. And not every absence type is, of course, connected to a balance. Like, for example, sick leave is not. So I'll just cancel it here because now I just want to show you the live time valuation. So I will create some odd hours, let's say from 17 to 23. And watch what happens when I click save and go down here to the time valuation result. Instantly, 5 hours of night premium are created. And why is that? That's because we've created a rule that applies night premiums for work between 18 and midnight. But we could also take it a step further. So our scenario has a requirement to generate weekend premiums when working Saturdays and Sundays. So I can create a cross midnight shift starting Friday at 22 and ending at 6 in the morning on Saturday. And hit save. And instantly you can see that the night premium is added by 2, so it's now 7 hours. And on top of that, we have created some weekend premiums for 6 hours for the Saturday hours. So all of this is calculated automatically, no manual work required, and the result is available right away. Yeah. But time valuation is not just about premiums. It can also handle accruals like adding hours to a time off and lieu account. So let's try one of the overtime scenarios that I mentioned earlier. Our employee, Martin Gilbert, works in Department 1, which means for every overtime hour he records, he should accrue 2 hours into his time off and lieu account. So if I just take one day and create an hour of overtime, just take it from 16 to 17 and hit save. You can see, first of all, in the time valuation result, we have generated a time off in lieu accrual 200%, which is 1 hour. That reflects the actual recorded hours. And further down in the timesheet accounts, we can see that added by the current timesheet is then 2 hours into the time off in lieu account. And on the left, you can see the total balance of the account. Now let's look at a part-time scenario. I'll jump into the timesheet of Elizabeth Day. As you can see here at the top, she's working 30 hours per week. And here's the rule, if you don't remember, for part-time workers, for every overtime hour recorded up until they reach 37 hour, which is the full-time equivalent in Denmark, they will accrue 1 hour of time off in lieu. And after that, it will apply to this standard department logic. So Elizabeth Day has worked on Monday until 14. So I can create a overtime record on top of this and say, okay, she's working long hours this day. Actually, 7 hours. And you can see down in the time valuation result, we have this time off in lieu accrual of 100% with 7 hours. And it's also in the timesheet accounts that generated 7 hours by the current timesheet and the total balance also of 7 hours. So if she was to have any additional overtime this week, I can create an hour the next day. And you'll see on top of the 100% toil accrual, you now have the time off in lieu accrual 200% with the 1 hour that we accrued. And this the time off in lieu balance is now 9 hours, which is the 7 hours for the 1-to-1 factor. And then we have added 2 hours on top of that with the latest accrual. So this was for the Department 1. So finally, we can look at the rule for Department 2. Here, employees don't accrue 2 hours of time off in lieu per recorded overtime hour, but instead they will accrue 1.5 hour. So I have this employee called Andy, which works in Department 2. So 37 hours. And if I record the overtime, him, and see instead of the 200% accrual into the time off in lieu, we now have a 1 hour of time off in lieu accrual for 150%. And in the timesheet accounts, we have added 1 hour and 30 minutes into the time off in lieu account. And this is actually done by using the business rules in time valuation that makes it available to make checks on job information fields on the employee. In this case, we've used the department. So no manual calculation, no confusion, just easy to record the working time, and then the time valuation will handle all the results.
Nicholas, can I just jump in here? So we actually had a question regarding when you showed the work time registrations. Is this connected to the time profile? You mentioned that it could be divided into different groups, so
yes,
they only show their own.
So there's a field on the employee called time profile, which acts as a grouping. So and in that time profile, you can assign different attendance types and absence types and allowances. So for example, you could say that time profile A should be able to record overtime, for example, and time profile B should not be able to record overtime. And that, of course, applies to both working time, overtime, whatever you can imagine. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think it is.
Great. So I think that wraps up this deep dive into time tracking and time valuation with these smart rules, including business rules and time valuation, and the unified experience for both employees and admins. So I just want to say that this is just a very small part of what time tracking is capable of. There's so much more to it. And if you want it, we're happy to dive deeper into that in another session. And now I'm going to hand things over to Jacob, who will take you through the next part of the session.
Thank you so much. And thank you for. So let me just get this one up running. We have it here. So can everybody see the screen now?
Yep.
So thank you, Nicholas, for the demo on time tracking. Now, before you can actually start the time tracking or before starting an implementation, it might be good for you to know, can time tracking actually solve your needs? Now, John mentioned Tiger and kept this a little as a surprise what this was, but Tiger is, beside having a really cool name, it's Gaudy's offering for time management, global evaluation, and recommendation report. It can help your organization make informed decisions before implementing time management solution. So what is Tiger? It is, as mentioned, a pre-implementation fit gap analysis that will identify the best time management solution for the entire organization. It will give you an extensive report with system and improvement recommendation. It will give you an in-depth understanding of your system complexity, as it will also include system landscape for the different countries, if you have multiple countries, your time management complexity within the different entities or countries, composition of blue colors, white colors, different rules, and much more. Additionally, we can also offer to look into implementation plan based on this report, a license plan or integration plan if this is needed. This is something that we discuss in the beginning of a report session. One more thing that is really good if you're planning to implement anyway, this pre-implementation analysis will also accelerate requirement gathering when you start before starting implementation. So why should you get a Tiger? There are multiple reasons why this could be relevant. You might be unsure if SuccessFactors can fulfill the need for your entity or country. You're unsure if which SuccessFactors module will be sufficient. Is it time off, timesheet, time tracking? There is often gray zones between timesheet and time tracking. You might have limited insight into the complexity and system landscape of your entities or countries. You're unsure if the countries are in compliance, or you might have completely different reasons to want to know how the individual country or entity looks like with focus on time management and all the integration and landscape around this. For whatever reasons, we can help you get an overview of your current landscape. So what does this take? Like usually we takes around 1.5 to 2 months, calendar months, and with your input, we'll get the recommendations. It usually takes 15 to 20 hours of your involvement in the beginning. The process is structured collaborative, so that means that it's something that we do together. We set up the output, what do we want to get out of it, and then we're looking into SMEs and talking with them. So this is a gather information, and afterwards Gaudy will evaluate and analyze the data that we get, and finally we write a report where you also have input to it and review it at the end before. So the finalized report that will give you a detailed description of the individual countries or entities. Like this is everything from time management landscape, system landscape, complexity, and if you need it as well, the fit, which SuccessFactors module is the best fit. It'll also give you an executive summary that you can use for for business cases, or it gives you an easy overview of all these things. So Gaudi has made multiple pre-implementation analysis before. In this format, we can highlight 2 production companies with 23 entities countries and one with more than 70 countries. And although they both had a focus on solution fit, they also differed in what some of their secondary objectives were. One of them with compliance requirements, looking into this, and another one needed input for implementation plan as well. This is actually just to say that your need might be different, but when we start up this phase, we actually look into what you need and try to custom fit it to your. Okay. So just to summarize this, like Tiger gives you a clear overview of your landscape and which solution fit. It requires minimal effort from your business resources, and time spent during the Tiger actually accelerates the implementation later on. So the requirement gathering phase will be lessened there. And over to you again, Nicholas.
Yeah, for time tracking, just want to emphasize that it builds on timesheet for advanced capabilities and provides a flexible rule-based framework for the complex time logic needed. And also, again, SAP invests heavily in time management right now with the releases, and most of the new functions and features will require the time tracking license.
Yeah. So we actually have a few questions. So we took one of them during the session as well. And
Thank you, Jacob. Yeah, and
thank
we
you.
have a few others as well. And I would encourage you, if you do have other questions, now is a really, really good time. And thank you both for that. It's been very, very insightful. And just to make the remark and to reiterate again what Nicholas said, we've really just scratched the surface. I think it's fair to say when it comes to time tracking this morning. But anyway, I'm going to get into some of the questions, and this one is in regards to Tiger, and I'll pass it over to you, Jacob. Okay. Is Tiger applicable only to SAP success factors from a fit gap analysis? And that's from Andrea. Thank you for the question, Andrea.
Yeah, so we built Tiger with the fit gap analysis for success factors. So we're asking questions directly towards this. But the system landscape, the time management overview, everything like that is global applicable. So that will still give you an overview of this. So we will come with a recommendation of success factor. But in those cases, few cases where this might not be possible, we could also, if you want to, recommend third-party solutions such as workforce software. But main focus is usually success factor.
Right. This is another really good question, and this one is from Stinas. Thanks for the question, Stinas. Is it possible for the system to register default hours?
I think I should answer that. Yes, the short answer is yes. So in this demonstration, we used what's called positive time recording, and this means that employees need to track all time, including working time, overtime, and absence. But you could choose to set it up as negative time recording, which would automate the records, automatically record the working time from each day and according to the planned working time. So the short answer is yes, and the long answer is yes. We just need to set it up for it.
Right. Thank you, Nicholas. Another question actually for you, Nicholas. Could overtime be derived from work time? And that one is from Michael. Thanks for the question, Michael.
Annika had the same one actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see some. Yes, but absolutely. This was just a simple scenario where overtime is recorded. We could also let the time valuation control everything and check if the normal working time is, for example, within or without the planned working time, and then generate could be account accruals like the time off in lieu or pay type generation if that's what needed. So yes, this was just simple. We could make the time valuation far more complex.
Right. Another question, and this one is for you, Jacob, just in regards to Tiger again. And this one is from Louise. Thank you for the question, Louise. What if we find out that success factors can't handle all of our requirements?
So if we come out with the analysis saying that there is some gaps here, that time tracking is not sufficient enough, we will of course map the gaps. If you already planned to have success factor, then you would need to know what gaps do you need to close before rolling it out. We could, as mentioned also before, point towards work for software that which is SAP is also doing for those few scenarios where time tracking wouldn't be sufficient there. So, but that's a different solution. You need to understand if this is the way you want to go. But else you would get the gap analysis between time tracking and where you are currently.
Right. I'm going to take a few more questions. I'm getting a little bit mindful of the time.
So, yeah.
Sorry, Jacob.
Yeah. I was just remembered also we maybe something with the approval flow. So overtime. So there's not a question here, but maybe approval of overtime. Is that? Can you mention a little bit about that, Nicholas?
Yeah, we can do it in several ways. You could set up the time off in lieu account to only be accrued when the timesheet is actually approved by the manager, if that's what needed. But you could also, if we use this scenario with where the time off in lieu is generated from an overtime registration, you could set up something called single record approval, which means that every time you record, for example, an overtime attendance type, that should be approved single-handedly besides the timesheet. And if you did that, then the time off in lieu wouldn't be accrued before that record is single-handedly approved also.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question. No pressure, Jacob. This is a very good question too. This one is from Sean. Thanks for the question, Sean. It's regards to success factors time tracking again, or maybe this is more applicable to you, Nicholas. Just in regards to localization, Sean is working for an organization, but they have multiple entities. Does success factors time tracking facilitate localization?
Yes, you can set it up with for each countries with the configurations for Denmark and Germany, etc. If that's what you want. So yes.
Yes. Question from Radke, and this is the last question we'll take. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to submit them to either Nicholas or Jacob. As I said, we will follow up with everyone. There's a question from Radke. Does success factors time tracking support tool-like features that allow employees to confirm or dispute events and clocks?
So sorry, what did you say?
Does success factors time tracking support attention toolkit, I think, like features that allow employees to confirm or dispute their time, it looks like.
Confirm or dispute their time. When if they use clock in, clock out, they will clock in and clock out, and then the time registration will end up in the actual timesheet. that like we saw today. And I don't know if that's the actual question, but then you will be able to see the timesheet from there also and submit and or amend it if that's what needed.
Okay. Probably need to get some clarity around the question, but happy to
Yeah.
follow up with you, Rike, after the call. And on that note, just from my perspective, I want to thank both Nicholas and Jacob for the time this morning. Hope everyone found it insightful and interesting. I think Tiger is something of a game changer in regards to, I suppose, we all are aware that making an investment into a solution like this can be significant. So it is important to do due diligence, I suppose, before you go and select a solution, and being aware, I suppose, of the environment the solution will sit in. So it seems to be it's invaluable. On that note, I might hand it back to the two guys just for maybe a final recap before we say goodbye this morning. I'll hand it over to you, Nicholas, first, please.
Yes, I just want to again say that this was a very small part of the time tracking. So if you are getting more curious, want to see other parts of time tracking, just reach out. We are happy to show you other parts of it also.
Yeah,
Right.
and also we are planning for future webinars as well. So if you have input to what you would like to see in those webinars, feel free to reach out. Whether it's being time accounts, time off, leave, and other areas as well. So as well, if you have any questions regarding the Tiger, please feel free to reach out further, yeah, and we will we'll contact you and tell you more about it if you need to.
Sounds good.